Every esport has that one team, the one that hits rock bottom only to rise in defiance of all odds. Like Cloud9 winning NA's first CSGO major in double overtime, Valorant's Gambit clawing their way from open qualifiers to their own world title, or League's very own DRX, rising from play-ins to beating 3 world champions at Worlds. As a similar story was also seen in Call of Duty. From 0-18 in map count, many roster changes, and on the brink of elimination from the championship tournament. This is the story of OpTic Texas. Modern Warfare 3 was a successful season for OpTic Texas. They had just completed one of the most electric final performances in CDL history, dominating the New York Subliners 5-1 in a statement win to be crowned champions after a 7-year drought. Led by Pred, Shotzi, Dashi, and Kenny, the team was looking incredible and confident as ever. With the release of Black Ops 6, anticipation hit another level. This was a movement-heavy Treyarch title, where high pace and mechanical skills flourished, everything that Shotzi, OpTic superstar, thrives in. Fans, analysts, and Call of Duty legends circled OpTic as early favorites for the 2025 season, and expectations were sky high, not just for another title, but for a potential dynasty. The Black Ops 6 season began on December 6, 2024, when OpTic Texas played their opening match of Major 1 qualifiers against Boston Breach and Cloud9. Despite entering as the reigning champions, they went 1-1 on the weekend, losing to Boston in a narrow 2-3 finish. This loss to Boston Breach was definitely a shock, but not as shocking as what was to come. Just 5 days since the start of the season, the news dropped. Pred was out of the starting lineup. With no public drama, no drawn-out tension, Pred was presumably being replaced, shocking the entire community. Their star player was seemingly blacklisted from the OpTic story. A player many believed to be a permanent piece to the green wall was suddenly gone. Players avoided his name, removed his branding, and acted as if it was all a dream. In his place came Huke, Shotzi's longtime SMG duo. After being released by the Vancouver Surge following the 2024 season, the world champion found himself playing Black Ops 6 and Challengers, Call of Duty's amateur league.
Tyler not being rostered is actually criminal. But yeah, we gotta get this guy on the team. I'm gonna make it my life's mission. My life's mission this year is to get Tyler on a team.
Unanimously, the best Challengers player at the time, he got the call and made his return to the green wall. And it definitely came with controversy, as Huke's prior stint with the team in the 2023 season had been inconsistent, and replacing Pred, an impactful superstar SMG, left some fans with questions. As OpTic Texas began to play with Huke, some of these questions were quickly answered, and fans began to realize what made this SMG duo truly great. The players themselves seemed to be okay with the changes, often viewing it as a positive, as this year's title was perfect for both Huke and Shotzi.
Obviously, me and AG, like, don't get it twisted, like, we definitely worked good together, and we won. But in terms of, like, how we mesh, me and Kyler, it's very, like, just one, if that makes sense.
The team finished Major 1 online qualifiers as the first seed, solidifying their dominance with Huke. However, this high didn't last for long. At Major 1 based in Madrid, OpTic failed to make a meaningful run and finish top 8, losing to the Carolina Royal Ravens in a surprising 3-1 finish. From pre-season favorites to an early exit at Major 1, OpTic was slipping, and narratives began to return on Huke's online to LAN performances, with some fans even calling for Pred's return. The team's top seed in qualifiers had given fans false hope, and their disappointing LAN performances reignited every concern that had been buried beneath the hype. Being one of the most popular and winningest franchises in Call of Duty history certainly didn't help with the pressure. Now heading into the Major 2 qualifiers, the community expected a bounce back. I mean, after all, it was still early in the season, and OpTic just made a pivotal change to their roster. But instead of steady improvements, the team went right back to square one. On February 7th, just 5 days after Major 1 concluded, OpTic made yet another roster change, bringing Pred back into the starting lineup. The same Pred who hadn't played competitive Call of Duty since his release, spending his time grinding rank play for any competitive edge. Fans were divided. Many welcomed the return of their star player, while others were skeptical. With no time to truly practice or rebuild chemistry, their first match back was against FaZe. the Major 1 champions. Expectedly, they experienced a brutal 3-0 sweep that did nothing but add to the existing pressures and narratives. Across the next few weeks, OpTic would endure a historic losing streak never seen before in their organization, let alone from reigning world champions. They had no identity in any of the 3 game modes and were constantly being blown out. They lost 18 straight maps across 6 different matches. The Green Wall finally ended the drought with an unimpressive win against LAG, but it was too late to salvage the stage. They finished the Major 2 qualifiers 1-6 in matches, 3-19 in map count, and entered their own major in losers bracket. By mid-March, it was clear something drastic had to change. On March 17th, OpTic Texas made yet another roster move, this time releasing Kenny. Despite being a 2-time world champion, Kenny had been statistically the worst player not only on OpTic, but arguably the entire league. Whether it was him being uncomfortable or the game simply not suiting his style, it was definitely a confusing decline. And to take his place, Skies was signed. Another world champion not having his best year, as he had just been dropped from LAG earlier in the season. Known for his slow, methodical playstyle, it did not give fans the confidence they needed as they worried and may clash with Dashy's game. A few days later, Major 2 had begun, and unfortunate for OpTic, they were starting a losers bracket at their own major. Though this time, to no one's surprise, they again fell short, bowing out to Toronto Ultra in yet another disappointing 3-0 sweep. The reigning champions had just got back-to-back top 8 finishes along with the worst stint in history. The writing was on the wall. Around March 26, another change occurred. Huke was brought back in, once again replacing Pred. These rapid changes, a constant rotation of talent, left the team disoriented. Chemistry was nowhere to be found and roles were shifting weekly, and the world champion identity OpTic had built the year prior seemed completely lost. And the worst part, their champs qualification was starting to slip out of reach as Cloud9 and Minnesota Rocker were taking their next steps. Fast forward to Major 3 in Toronto, OpTic's struggles continued. They were eliminated by Atlanta FaZe, winners of the last 2 tournaments, in a match that felt more like a final blow. Meanwhile, Toronto's own roster faced last-minute border issues with one of their starting players, which led to the emergency signing of Mercules from Challengers, a relatively unknown player thrown into the CDL spotlight and making his debut just days later. For the Toronto camp, it was business as usual, dominating their series even with a fill-in. For OpTic, it seemed like a new beginning. When Toronto Ultra signed Mercules due to a sudden border issue, it wasn't supposed to be a shift for the entire league. I mean, yeah, he was a top-tier Challengers talent, but he had only started competing less than a year prior. However, just 2 weeks after Major 3, OpTic Texas signed Mercules to their starting roster, benching Skies in the process. On the surface, it seemed like OpTic was taking a chance on a rookie, similar to their 2023 season when they picked up Dan Ghosty, but behind the scenes, it made sense. It didn't take long for people to notice a shift, with Mercules seamlessly fitting into the flex role like a glove. And suddenly, OpTic looked like a different team. Shotzi and Dashy seemed to regain their rhythm while Huke continued his dominance. The team went on to go on a tear, along with the 3rd seed heading to the tournament. Major 4 was around the corner, and fans and analysts alike were waiting to see what OpTic can do. After dominating the last couple matches with an amazing showing, at Major 4, OpTic had their best placement of the season while being behind in practice and team chemistry. For how their season started, a top 4 was nothing short of an accomplishment. While some fans wanted them to lift the trophy, most were just proud of how far they had come and couldn't wait for their next showing. The Green Wall were contenders again. June 26, 2025, after a long break since the end of Major 4, champs had finally begun. The extended gap gave OpTic a much-needed window to catch up to the other top teams who had remained stable all year. For the first time all season, they had a solid roster, role balance, and momentum heading into the next and most important tournament of the year. In the days leading to champs, rumors of their scrim dominance circulated the community.
That
I
was
feel
the other
like,
day.
yeah, we
bro.
literally beat someone 250 to 16 the other day.
Even the players themselves confirmed some practice results, but now it was time to prove it. Their first match, they faced Atlanta FaZe, Major 1 and Major 2 champions, a team that had eliminated OpTic from tournaments for 2 years straight. But this time, something felt different. From the opening moments, it was clear the tides were shifting. They dismantled FaZe in a clinical, dominant 3-0 win, sending a message early on. Next came Toronto Ultra, the team who had just swept them out of their own major just months prior. And once again, OpTic looked dominant as they returned the favor 3-0, with Mercules violating his previous team. They cruised through the bracket, not losing a single map, with Mercules having a breakout series every time they played, awaiting on the Seattle Surge that had been to 3 previous grand finals. The chance to make history was at their fingertips, not only for the players, but the OpTic organization, as no franchise had won back-to-back world championships, and only a select few players achieved that feat. After a couple grueling matches and a 3-3 tie, they finally get the upper hand in a Hacienda S&D, a game mode that was favored by the Vancouver Surge all year. They were one match away. OpTic was up 4-3 in the best of 9, heading into a rewind hardpoint, a game mode they were undefeated in the entire tournament. In one of the most beautiful comebacks of the season, Texas crawled their way out of an 80-point deficit. From having the most difficult season of their lives and being the epitome of struggle, they were 10 seconds away from it all. 10 seconds away from the greatest comeback story ever written. In an emotional ending, they finally did it. Through struggles, roster changes, community hate, they had won the World Championship. As they lifted the trophy, it was history made for a rookie, history made for an organization, and history made for the players. And truth be told, this wasn't about winning. This was about falling apart and putting the pieces back together, brick by brick. Thank you guys for sticking through to the end. I hope I did their story justice. Shout out to everyone who showed love on my last video essay, man. I really appreciate you all more than you know. And that is it for today, and I will catch y'all in the next one. Peace.